Give me 1 second here. How's it going with you on this wonderful day?
Surviving.
Surviving? So we got Jeff Scott Soto here, and you got a great new album that was released, Wide Awake in My Dreamland. Now, this album, let me tell you, the guitar solos you've got on it are kicking ass. Your voice is incredible as always. I mean, how much work and effort and work you put into this album?
Well, I put the same amount of work on this record that I do for everything that I do, even if it's just a session, a paid session for somebody else or for a friend or a demo. I always try. I realize, especially now, that people know who I am and I have a name behind me. I have to always kind of deliver quality. I don't want, if it's a demo or something that I'm just doing as a favor for somebody, I don't want to be represented in a horrible way, or people go, "Oh, he sounds horrible here," or you kind of have an image to uphold. It's kind of like I guess the Hollywood actor. They don't want to be wearing their sweats or their loose tank top and be taken a photo of. It's kind of the same thing with my voice. If I'm gonna put my voice out there in any capacity, I want it to be as good a quality as I possibly can, or as much as I have control of, anyways. And thank you for the compliment. I luckily had this lockdown quarantine time to revisit a lot of the vocals, because to be honest with you, I did the vocals after two major tours. I came home with 15 days, a 15-day window to sing 11 songs. And I can tell you right now that my voice was a bit toasty. It was a bit crusty in a lot of areas, and it didn't sound as quality as I would have wanted to. But I didn't really have the choice. I had to get the stuff done because I was going on the road with Sons of Apollo. And having the quarantine truly gave me, aside of the fact that we delayed the release of the album, it also meant I didn't have to turn in the masters at the original time, and it allowed me to go back and redo a bunch of things, and also even add a few things that I didn't have before. So I got to revisit it and kind of soup it up, fix it up how I wanted it to come out in the end. That being said, the guitar playing, I mean, Fabrizio, this guy he's a friend of my producers, Alessandro, and they've been friends for a long time, but they never worked together. And Alessandro told him, someday I gotta get you into one of my studio projects and one of the things I'm doing. And of course, he was a bit nervous to hear that the one thing that they're finally going to work together was going to be my record, because of course Fabrizio knows who I am from the many things that I've done in my life. And I got to tell you, I've never heard of this guy, but he's definitely going to be on my scope from now on, because what a guitar player. The stuff that he did on my record, it's just, when you think of the amazing guitar players I play with in my life, and this guy comes along and adds to that same level, and nobody knows who he is, I really am so pleased with what he did on this record.
And I gotta tell you, it is standing up to the best on this album with the guitar solos, certainly.
And naturally, when you're promoting an album, or when you're talking about the people that worked on it with you, you're naturally going to give it high positive marks. But when I'm speaking of Fabrizio's guitar playing on this record, I truly am. I'm praising for a reason, because he is unbelievable.
One thing I didn't realize, or maybe forgot, major accomplishments. You got like 85 albums recorded under your belt, and that was in the press. That is incredible.
Well, and it's 85 records. It's not from only bands that I've done. I'm talking, this number is based on, if you add the things like the Rockstar soundtrack or other things that I've done appearances on as guest vocalist, etc. I mean, it's a little smaller number if you're just counting all the bands and solo projects and other things that I've done. I'm sure the number's less, but when you add everything, including soundtracks and anything that's released with my voice as a featured lead vocalist, I think it's actually over 85, to be honest with you. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and that is an incredible number when you look at it. It does impress people, I'm sure.
Well, you know what would be more impressive is if I had the bank account to to follow it.
That's probably
There's
true.
a lot of great groups out there that have less albums and they have a way bigger bank accounts.
And also in these difficult times, how was it recording the album? How would you say?
It's no different than any other way I'm doing it, because for the most part of my career and my life, I've dealt with overseas musicians and situations where I can't necessarily be there. thankfully, technology has allowed us to continue doing quality work together, and without having to deal with long international flights and jet lag and costly studios. So luckily, I have been awarded the luxury of that technology, and it continues to do so, even more so now. I've kind of mastered it by now. So something like COVID doesn't stop me one bit. I'm continuously making music, creating music, and doing things with the various bands and things that I've been a part of for so many years.
Let's say making cool artwork, because this new artwork you got for Wide Awake in My Dreamland is pretty catchy.
Well, yeah, and specifically for this record, I didn't have any real vision. I just told my graphics guy, who's just phenomenal. I've worked on him for the last 4 or 5 albums now. He's done all the Soto covers, and he did my last JSS cover. And he's just got a phenomenal talent for just making stuff up based on the way the music sounds. I have to always send him the music before he starts. He wants to use the music kind of as a catalyst to what he's going to be creating. But the only thing I told him on this particular artwork, I told him it's got to be something a little out there, a little freaky, a little dreamscape oriented. Like if you're having a dream or a nightmare or something in between, where it's an Alice in Wonderland kind of freakiness that portrays that you're wide awake, but you're actually possibly dreaming.
Wow. And listening to the music and making the artwork at the same time, that's something not much people go for. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's an important process, to be honest with you. I think it's just as important as if I'm creating a lyric. I don't write lyrics up. When I write songs, I'm not really part of the music writing. My forte is melodies and lyrics. But I don't sit here all day and come up with a row and pages of lyrics and tons of recordings of melodies. I have to hear the piece, and the piece basically dictates to me what the melody's going to be, what the song's going to be about. I don't have a go-to source where things are kind of pre-written and preheated and warmed and ready to use on any given project. It's got to be literally created for that particular song, for that particular situation, and that's every single song is the same on this album as it is on every album I work on. It's got to be for that particular item. I don't have leftover things, or I don't write just to write. Now, a lot of people think that's probably how I get a lot of my stuff done, but absolutely not.
Now, for this album, did you get different approaches to writing stuff, like different feelings and inspirations?
Oh, absolutely. And as I said, the song itself, when I listen to the piece of music that doesn't have any vocals or any melodies on it, it pretty much tells me what's going to be on it. It tells me what naturally, organically comes from my soul when I listen to this particular piece of work. And it could be completely different from the person who's writing the music. A lot of people have ideas and melodies in their heads of what they would hear behind it. And luckily, I'm lucky enough to be able to write with enough people that they just give me the piece of music and let me do what I do.
One thing you're really good at is making music videos. How much input do you have into making like the brand new video without you?
Well, thank you. Again, I try to surround myself. It's not just the talented musicians and talented songwriters. I gotta surround myself with the talented graphic artists, and especially when it comes to videos, because with videos being so low budget as they are, you have to be as creative as possible to give a bigger budget look to something that the budgets we're getting these days. You're lucky if you can pull it off with an iPhone and somebody who knows how to use an editing program. But I'm lucky enough to have incredibly talented people behind me. There's this director in Brazil. He's done all the Soto videos, or everyone except for one, and he's got a phenomenal eye. And normally I was supposed to be in South America doing the Sons of Apollo tour, and we were going to be shooting the video while I was there. I was going to go like a day or two early so we can do the video, but because of COVID, everything got canceled and we had to improvise. And I'm shocked at how well he was able to pull off the look of this video, the vibe and the landscapes and everything, when they themselves in Brazil were right in the height of their lockdown. So this guy Tiago in Brazil. He's just phenomenal director, and I love that he makes me mini movies. He doesn't make me music videos. He makes me like short films.
And short films is probably a thing people like to see now, in music videos because it represents, the song, let's say, a certain way.
Sure. And more importantly, you kind of get bored seeing the same, a band in a cool old warehouse, and you're just seeing them perform the song. I'd rather have more behind the performance than just watching me singing and backing, singing a song and playing a guitar or a piano. I love the visuals, landscapes that he's able to bring into the videos and make it a little more appealing.
Whose idea was it to pick out the singles on this album, which is a great combination of singles like Love's Blind and Someone to Love?
I personally, I normally do it myself, but I find it's you get a little more enthusiasm and backing from the record company when you do it with them, because they might have a different idea of what they feel is a single, and if you choose something they don't feel that strongly about, you're probably not going to get them to do the promo work behind the marketing and all that as much as if they felt responsible for helping you decide that. So on this particular album, the only one I said I have to release this as a single, and if I'm only doing one video, this has to be the video. It was Without You, but everything else, I heard what they thought should be representing this particular record, and I went with it. They were spot on.
To finish off, like, let's say a day in a life with you today in COVID-19 situations, how is it? Different lifestyle, I'm sure.
Well, the only difference is I'm home a lot more. I'm usually breaking up my year with half being away and half at home, and then from home, then we have opportunities to do vacations and such. Obviously, this year I came home on March 3rd, and I haven't done a thing since. I've just been pretty much locked down and following the protocol of what's necessary for us to start moving back into regular life again. That being said, my normal life has become quite a daily routine of doing a lot of work between sessions, albums, projects, new ideas of possible things that I might be involved with in the future, etc. So I've been filling my days with insane amount of work and music, and then you add all those quarantine videos that everybody was doing. I'm pretty much in the studio every day working on something or finishing something or starting something.
So your life is getting busier and busier, let's say.
I guess in a sense, yes, it's busier and busier, but part of it is therapeutic because it keeps me from going nuts,
right,
that I have to be home. But the other part of it is I'm taking advantage of doing things that I normally wouldn't have the time or even the energy to do because I'd be so busy or burnt out from touring. So yeah, I have to spin some kind of positive from a negative.
Excellent stuff. Jeff Scott Soto, your album is incredible. My girlfriend loves your work, by the way. She's been a fan of yours for probably 3-4 years now. I've introduced her to you, and she loves you.
I thank you for that. It's people like you I need more of, because the old promotional machines and marketing machines aren't what they used to be, and now we rely on word of mouth and people spreading the good word, and I thank you for sharing my music with your girlfriend and anybody else that you're playing for.
Oh, absolutely, and you keep up the good work and keep them being busy.
I will do that, and hopefully I'll just keep doing stuff that you like to listen to.
Absolutely. Okay,
right
keep up the great work, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.